Hi everyone, this is Joy with another Lawn Fawn video. For my project today, I'm using the forest backdrop die to make a really fun fairy magical scene. Now I've die cut this forest backdrop die from white cardstock, and as you can see here, there is a ton of stitching detail around the outside frame, on the trees, and around the arch, which is really a pretty detail. I'm also going to die cut the trees, the mushrooms, the grass, and the stars from some cardstock as well, most of them from white cardstock, because I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring on these images. But first I want to do some ink blending on this background. So I want this to feel magical. So I've decided to use some purples, some teals, and some pinks. I'm using Distress Oxide ink in Wilted Violet, Kitsch Flamingo, and Salvaged Patina. And I'm just going to get a nice good blend on those. This is actually going to be the front part of our card. So I'm going to ink blend this. I'm also going to ink blend a full A2 sized background of white cardstock in the same color, in the same order, because that's going to be the background part for our card. Once I'm done blending this, I'm also going to do some blending using the Bayou backdrop. This is going to be directly behind the forest backdrop. I just thought this felt a little magical. It can look really pretty. The scene is going to be kind of behind it, so it's going to feel like it's tucked away. So I am inking it with the Kitsch Flamingo and the Salvaged Patina. And when I blend those two colors together, I'm going to get a little bit of purple in the center, so I did not need to use the Wilted Violet. I'm just being really careful as I blend those to not rip the little leaves that are hanging down. So once I'm done with that, then I'm going to blend out the little pond or lake that comes in the Bayou backdrop, and I am using the Salvaged Patina, and then I'm going to come in with Wilted Violet and just kind of add a little bit of that at the bottom edge. I also did add a little bit of peacock feathers around the edge, but once I added this Wilted Violet, you don't even see that anymore, so there was kind of no point in adding that color in. So I'm just going to give that a nice good blend, and I think these two colors together are really gorgeous, adds to this kind of magical feel. I am not inking up on the back because it kind of is going to look like it's up on a hill once this design is put together. I'm going to color the trees. I'm using some blue greens for this. I am just laying down my light color, coming in with a darker, a little bit of a medium color, and then blending it all out again with the lightest color. I did decide to come back in with a purple to add a little bit of a darker shadow, and I'm really glad that I did that because it added just another fun color element to it, so it looked more like a magical tree. Then I've got the little mushrooms. These mushrooms right here are from the forest backdrop die. I'm going to color those in the blue greens, and then I have kind of a brighter pink and a lighter pink for the mushroom caps. So I just am using two colors for that, the lightest and then a darker, and then just blending that out. I'm also using the mushroom border die, and I'm going to color those mushrooms in pink and purple. So the stems are going to be pink and the mushroom caps are going to be purple. I just actually left the little dots in, and I'm going to color those a really dark turquoise on the mushroom caps. And so we've got a couple different colors of mushrooms, which really adds to the design. Then this is also from the mushroom border. This is the grass part. I am using the Kitsch Flamingo and the Wilted Violet. Again, I want everything to feel magical. I really kept the color scheme the same throughout the whole card design. And so I'm just going to blend this together till I get a nice good blend. Now I'm going to glue together all of my little images. Here is that mushroom border and the grass piece that goes with that. Isn't that cute? And then here are the mushrooms from the forest backdrop die. I'm just going to glue those together. It's really helpful to have tweezers and a little bit of liquid glue, and everything glues together so quickly. I'm coloring the little pieces of grass from the forest backdrop the same way that I colored the trees, keeping that in the same color combo. Now we've got these cute little images that I stamped with jet black ink. It is Copic friendly, onto some white cardstock. I am using images from the Fairy Friends, which is this cute little house and the little stone steps. And then I'm using the little sparkle stamp set, and that has those little fairies. Actually, there's 2 fairies. I stamped one of them twice. Again, keeping in the same color scheme with the purples and the pinks and the teals. That's how I'm going to color all of these images, and I just think this is a great color combination for a little fairy forest. Now, the fairies are all going to have different color dresses, but their wings and their hair is going to be exactly the same. I want to keep that pretty simple, but I've got a purple dress, a teal dress, and a pink dress. I used BG11 for their wings because I wanted that to have a little bit of color. And I'm going to use the coordinating dies to die cut out all of these really cute little images. Now I'm going to adhere that bayou backdrop to the forest backdrop with some liquid glue directly to that. And you can see how cute that is as that's coming together. Then I'm going to adhere the grass piece to the mushroom border. I'm just getting all my main pieces adhered together, and then we can get this whole card put together. That's how that's going to sit, and it's so, so cute. I decided I'm going to cut off the mushrooms that I'm not going to see, that's going to be hidden by some of the design elements on this card, and I will use those a little bit later. I am adhering down that cute little pond right in front, and I'm actually going to trim off one of the small trees on the right-hand side. There is the background that I inked up earlier, and I adhered that mushroom border to that. And here's where I'm going to trim off that little tree because I want 2 trees on one side and 1 tree on the other. So now I'm going to adhere those trees down, and here's where a lot of dimension, just visual dimension, is going to come into play. I'm going to start grouping together some of my little elements. So I've got the different color mushrooms, and as you can see, some of these little purple mushrooms are the ones I cut off of the background, that mushroom border background, and I'm going to use those on my card design in other places. So I added some foam tape behind the forest backdrop, and I'm just adhering that to my other background, and now you can see we have just a little bit of dimension. I only added 1 layer of foam tape, but you could add 2 if you want more dimension. I tucked a tree into the back, that cute little house, and you can see I have it tucked behind that bayou backdrop, the little leaves that are hanging down, and that gives visual dimension. I'm just starting to adhere little grass pieces, little mushrooms, like I said, just little groupings of 2 or 3 at a time. And you can see how quickly this scene is coming together, and it just really has the look of a little fairy forest. I'm going to tuck a fairy in under in the back. I'm going to glue a fairy with some foam tape on the front there, and another fairy is going to be sitting on top of that mushroom with foam tape as well. I stamped the sentiment that says, "Hope your day." That's the top sentiment, and the rest of it is going to say sparkles, but we're going to get to that in a minute. I die cut the little stars from the forest backdrop, and I used the pixie dust glitter cardstock for that, and I'm just gluing that all over the front and letting the images kind of spill out over the whole front of this card design. Now I'm coming in with some liquid stardust because this whole thing needs to sparkle. The whole sentiment says, "Hope your day sparkles," and so I need it to sparkle. So I added it to the mushroom caps, to the house, to some of the grass. Just it sparkles everywhere. So now I've got this in my MISTI. I am prepping that pond with an anti-static powder tool, and I'm going to stamp the word sparkles. This is from a little sparkle. This is from that stamp set. I'm going to ink up with the clear embossing ink and come in with white embossing powder, and I'm going to heat that through until it's nice and melted. And then we're going to have our whole sentiment that says, "Hope your day sparkles," which is perfect for this card. Now that that's done, I decided I needed to add some white highlights. I always add white highlights with a white gel pen, but I also needed to add some white highlights to the pond because it really didn't look like a pond. So adding a few really light-handed white highlights off the side makes it look like there's some water. Then I'm going to come back in with that liquid stardust and add a little bit of more of that onto the pond, and that really gives a good shimmer and shine. I'm going to add this to a white A2 size card base, and this card design is finished. And isn't that super cute? I love all the dimension. I love the sparkle from the liquid stardust. This forest backdrop is so darling. You can make so many little scenes with this. All the mushrooms that are sparkly. You've got the cute little fairies. Their wings are sparkly. Isn't this just a great card? Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project, and I will see you soon. Bye.